President Trump has promised to carry out the largest deportation force in American history, starting on day one. Now, cities that could be targeted as part of the operation include Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago. But there are a lot of other cities on that list. Chicago is supposed to be the city where these operations began, but those operations were put on hold over the weekend because of media leaks. With us now is Illinois Democratic Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, who represents part of Chicago, sits on the House Homeland Security Committee. It is a treat, Congresswoman, to see you in person. I thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about it, because one of those cities that has been mentioned as possible beginning of the largest deportation force in history is Chicago. What do you tell people in Chicago, and why Chicago?
I mean, look, we have an administration of retaliation and retribution. And Chicago has been for decades a city that has welcomed immigrants. Those have been here for 35 years and those who came a year ago or last week. And so I think it's a targeting of a city that lives its values, that justice and equality we really mean it's for all. And so I'll tell you, I was at 7 a.m. on a really cold Chicago day yesterday.
It was really brutal over the weekend and yesterday.
I almost had frostbite for a moment. I won't lie to you. It was really, really cold. But I spent a number of hours talking to constituents at a train station, at laundromats, and saying to them, you have rights regardless of your legal status. Here are your rights. And here's who to call if you need resources.
How is it, Congresswoman? Because, you know, there is so much, and it's always kind of interesting to see people's perspective on this. Much of it is related to whether they have any personal knowledge of people, because it all boils down to people. But you know, there is a situation where most Americans support some form of immigration control.
That's right. And they keep saying, let's do it the legal way, which I agree with. Let's create legal pathways. But when you have President Trump on day one canceling CBP, this is where people have been in Mexico. They have not entered the country unauthorized, waiting desperately for that appointment, some of them living in tents. And then all of a sudden, they have an appointment today at 1 p.m. and they get a notification, your appointment has been canceled. You will no longer be able to come and enter to seek asylum. So what we're saying is enter the legal way, but then we're going to destroy any legal pathways.
That's really, you know, the bottom line. If you want people to follow a legal way, there has to be a legal way. And then the other issue is this whole birthright citizenship thing that the president on day one again said he wanted to get rid of that. It's clear that there are some steps that he can't unilaterally do that, but the concept is out there, and the discussion is, and I'm just wondering, you know, you're a member of Congress. This building right back here, which must be incredible every day to be able to go there.
The honor of my life.
The honor of your life. And indeed, and to think that your parents brought you here. And you were born here. Yeah. And yet, I guess you would be someone who is under birthright citizen.
Yeah, that's right. My mother was pregnant. She came to Chicago, and I was born in Chicago, and I lived in the beloved city that I've called home my entire life. And he is now saying that someone who spent 20 years of her life in the nonprofit setting helping people in need, and now a member of Congress, would not have birthrights under what President Trump is saying is his new executive order, which, by the way, is absolutely unconstitutional.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing he can do on that specific issue. There are ways, of course, to amend the Constitution, but that's not something that the president can do on day one. But how do you, Congresswoman, kind of internalize what this debate has become?
I think it's pretty plain and simple. And, you know, they're saying the quiet part that they have believed very out loud. We believe in certain Americans, and we believe that certain people are deserving of citizenship, and those are not. And there's others that are not. The 14th Amendment says clearly, since 1868, that anyone born in this country has the right to U.S. citizenship and protection of equal rights across states. Yesterday, he said, I am over that Constitution, and only those that I believe are worthy of citizenship.
Where I just keep thinking a lot, you know, is it possible for us as a country to ever get to a conversation about comprehensive immigration reform and what that means, and the differences between comprehensive immigration reform and migration and border policies? But is it possible?
I think it is. And here's why. The upcoming weeks, months will show you the destabilization of this country as a result of fear and mass deportations. You will see that impact in every single industry in every community, from the housing industry to agriculture to hospitality. You're going to see the trauma of children who don't know if when they go home, their parents will be there. And their friends, their schoolmates are going to go home and say, Mom, Pablito is really scared and he doesn't know if he has a home to go home to. I mean, we are going to be forced to really reckon with who are we as this country and what we're going to do about immigration.
It hurts, doesn't it?
Painful.
Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, thank you very much for being with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.